Hello all and welcome to another episode of Up to 11 with me, Killjoy, the show that basically sort of listens and reviews game soundtracks. Um, yeah, so today we're listening to a game soundtrack from a game called Sanctum. Yeah, this is quite an interesting soundtrack actually. I like this one because it's quite ambient and it reminds me a lot of the Unreal Tournament '99 original soundtrack. Admittedly, not quite so in your face, but it does have a kind of the sound and feel from Unreal Tournament. Soundtrack is pretty much mostly synths with piano and reverb. I mean that pretty much describes what the soundtrack is and how the soundtrack sounds for most of the game. And apart from the main theme, most of the tunes are split into two parts of the game. So the game itself is a tower defense game with first-person shooter elements. So you get music for the building sections, and then you get music for when you're actually fighting the enemies. And so yeah, you get the cross where some of them are a lot slower, sort of gentle music, and then you get the music that's a lot more intense for when you're fighting. But generally, the soundtrack is pretty much all the same kind of stuff. But it's quite a nice soundtrack, and it's one of those ones that you wouldn't really pick up on massively unless you listen to it by itself. But then, if it wasn't in the game, you wouldn't. You'd be like, oh, there's something missing. It's that type of soundtrack that you kind of listen to it, but you don't listen to it. So you need to like listen to it on its own to really appreciate the soundtrack itself. I want to point out that the composer of this soundtrack is a gentleman by the name of Gustaf Tivander, I believe. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but yeah, it's Gustaf Tivander. If you're going to type that into Google and have a look and hopefully find out a bit more about any more music he's done, he's definitely worth checking out. Right, so let's move on to the first piece of music then. The first piece of music is called Sky's Theme. Like I said, all the music on this is very similar. It's very ambient, it's very synthy, it's got a nice piano. It's all kind of ambient electronic. That's basically the theme of this soundtrack. So let's have a listen to this soundtrack then. This theme, sorry. It's called Sky's Theme, so have a listen. So that was that was Sky's theme, which is the main theme for the game. It's pretty gentle. I like when theme tunes for games are, well, for a lot of time quite calm. It's quite nice, you know. It's a nice piece of music, and I like the fact that you've got a nice mix in there with the synths and the piano. It works really well. I mean, who doesn't like a bit of piano with synths and swirly sounds and things like that? It's good. If anyone noticed, there is a part in there that sounds kind of like Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield, which is quite nice. I like that little part where the piano's playing that part, yeah. But yeah, so the next track that we're going to listen to is called Cloud Control, and I think this is one that you get when you're in the building stage of the game, because it's kind of chilled out again. But it's the same kind of thing. It's not identical to the main theme in the way that it's put together, but it's more gentle than the last track that I'm going to play, which is more, I think, during an aggressive part. So have a listen to this next one. It's called Cloud Control. So that was Cloud Control. Like I said, it's very similar to the main theme, but it's during the actual game this time. And I quite like that low bass there. You know, it's not totally in your face, but it's noticeable with all the swirling synths and things on top. It's quite a nice. It's got a very peaceful track. I really like when you actually have that playing and you're building up and stuff. It just sort of calms you down after during the game, after maybe an intense wave and stuff. But it fits the game beautifully, really, that track. Right. The last piece of music is called Glider Hunt, and this one is this is the one that I think sounds like it could easily have been in an Unreal Tournament game, like Unreal Tournament Unreal Tournament 2004 perhaps, or Unreal Tournament 2003. It's very much suits that one of those type of games. It feels like you should be running around and shooting and stuff, and it's got quite a bit of tension in this track as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, have a listen to this one and see what you think. So that was Glider Hunt. Hopefully you can see, if you have played on Road Tournament, you can see what I mean there, where basically it kind of makes you like it's got a bit of tension in there. Makes when you're running around and trying to shoot things, that's a good bit of music to have. So that's me done for this episode. Usual stuff as always. Please comment, subscribe, like, send me some emails if you know for suggestions of soundtracks you'd like me to have a go at, whether preferably new ones. But if anyone specifically, if I get bombarded with emails for people wanting me to do older games, then I will have a go at them. I'd also like to point out that you can buy the Sanctum soundtrack on Steam and probably elsewhere, so please go and support the composers of this music and go and download that soundtrack and buy it for them. Right, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you next episode.